Hi, welcome to our podcast, Above Deck, a below deck breakdown podcast. I'm Sarah Goldman, coming to you from Charleston, South Carolina, and with me is my college roommate and co-host, Kelly.
I'm Kelly Busby, a former radio host and currently sick of the snow we received over the weekend, coming to you from my home studio in Columbus, Ohio. Together, we hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, Ohio, and we are back again this week to discuss Below Deck and our love of all things Bravo.
Today we have two very special co-hosts joining us. Kaya and Aaron from Bravo While Black are here. Welcome to Above Deck, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you for
having
having
us.
us. This is so exciting. I love crossovers and
Mhm.
yeah, and we've been talking for a bit. So I've watched the episode. I'm prepared, and we're also going to talk about other things, which I'm even more excited
Right.
about.
I
So
know. I'm so
Yeah,
excited. Like the faster we can get to Traitors, the better.
thank you.
but I
Agree.
will say I really appreciate y'all for kind of having us watch this show because I have grown an appreciation for it just based off of this season.
Oh,
The
cool.
first three episodes, I'm like, this is actually a good show, and I was
Oh.
thoroughly enjoying it.
So, what was your like gateway show into the Bravo world? What did you guys first start
That's a
watching?
good question.
Ooh,
Atlanta. We
Atlanta.
grew up
Yeah.
on Atlanta, but then it was just Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Vanderpump
into the
Rules.
Bravo world, it was Vanderpump Rules. And then since then, we were like, yeah, they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excited. Kelly, what
Mhm.
was your first show that you watched on Bravo?
I want to say it was Orange County,
Me
like
too,
at the
because that was
very
the
beginning.
first
Um, and
housewives.
then and then I just started watching New York, and then I just started turning it on Sundays, and it whatever show was on, I was watching it, because it was like Sundays was they were doing a marathon of something. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was just whatever I could get, I was getting. But I think I started with Orange County.
yeah, the OGs. Okay. Well, we're going to start out with recapping the Below Deck episode that you guys watched, and then we'll get into the other shows. So today we'll be discussing Below Deck Season 11, Episode 3, Breaking Barbie.
Here's your recap. The crew enjoys the first crew night out, and Ben and Sunny grow closer. The new guests arrive with less sophisticated palates, and the deck team needs more food. Fraser is frustrated with Barbie's attitude towards him and tells Captain Carrie about it. So, Kaya and Aaron, what did you think about your first episode of Below Deck?
Okay, so technically, my first episode of Below Deck really was Below Deck Mediterranean.
Oh,
And
okay.
like
Okay.
that's the smaller, or like, no, it was sailing yacht. And it was like the
Sailing,
smaller
yep.
boat. So I was just like, I don't like this at all. But with this, I'm like, okay, it's a bigger boat, bigger
Yeah.
stakes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like nicer, background and everything.
Yeah.
Based off of episode 3, which is fresh in my mind, the brand new one that we just watched, I liked it, and I liked the point of contention between Fraser and Barbie, because they speak very plainly. They didn't try to cover it up. He was like, I think you're being a B word.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, well, okay, well, speak on it. And they just really just like went at each other about it. And also, there's this one hot guy who was just like, oh, every time I look into your eyes, I find the truth or something like that. And I'm
Oh,
like,
Jared.
God, I hate that would literally work on me so easily.
Oh, no.
But
Oh, so
yeah,
funny.
this was a really interesting episode, and I am actually excited to see like what happens next when he tells Captain Carrie, and also Captain Carrie. I'm just going through all of it. I'm sorry, that's just how
No,
my
go
brain
ahead, and
works.
then we'll go through it.
You're
Captain
good.
Carrie is like he's trying to learn Turkish, I think, for his girlfriend. I
Oh,
think,
how sweet is
right?
that? Yeah.
Yes.
It was so cute, and I'm just like, he's a romantic at heart. I know that everyone at like BravoCon, they like Captain Jason, but also they like Captain Carrie too. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna break so many hearts. But it was just such a good episode. So many things going on, and
Yeah.
and it does still. My biggest thing about Below Deck, I guess, why I never got fully into it, is because it just makes me feel claustrophobic. They're
Mm.
on the boat and it's just they're serving people, and then they're having to like, it just puts me in a stressful situation. I feel like I'm watching Bravo's version of like The Bear, where it's like they have to get these things right, and it's just these cramped bunk beds, and people are trying to hook up, people hate each other, people
It's
are trying
not
to
a
go sleep,
relaxing show at all.
people are asleep, and you kind of have to actually like pay attention. But I do like when they're off the boat. I like the storylines within the storylines. I like hearing, I think that was Fraser's background when he was talking about you know, how he faced homophobia in the industry. So people have like different stories to tell, and they are from all over the world. So I really appreciate like the exposure to different European and Australian cultures.
Yeah, that is cool. We have people from all over. Usually there's like quite a few people from South Africa. Yeah, we have a lot of Australians this time. We've had French people this season, and then last season, that was maybe the first time we've had someone from France. So that is cool. You know, people you wouldn't normally run into. So when the episode picks up, Fraser's talking to Barbie and Kat, and it just doesn't seem like these two are ever gonna get along. And he has him hug it out, and that was such a like housewives thing, you know. It's like they're fighting. Oh, let's just hug it out and move on, you know, brush it under the rug.
So awkward. Like, I think that's probably one of the most awkward hugs I've ever witnessed in a while. So, but you know, you do what you got to do, right?
So Aaron and Kaya, we always say you can't really judge a season until you have the first crew night out. And this is the first crew night out. And they go to that beautiful beachside restaurant. And we learn that Barbie grew up all over the world with 3 nannies. This is not the typical yachty type person that we have coming on this show.
I was going to ask, like a hair nanny? Hair nanny as a child? Like as an adult, I'm like, okay, you travel. We see it on the house. Like, you travel with makeup and a hairstylist. You call it glam. But as a child, you needed a hair nanny.
What did her family do to live all over the world and then also afford 3 nannies for their child?
Like, we are kind of friendly with Barbie on Instagram. So Barbie, get in our DMs and just let us know what your parents do, because obviously we are not in the right field.
Right.
So
hook us up, girl.
Jared shares with everyone that he has a daughter that he's never met, and she lives in Alaska with the mom, and they FaceTime 2 times per week.
That was unreal. I can't get over that he's never met her in person.
Yeah. So hopefully, it's hard. He lives in Florida. She lives in Alaska. Hopefully at some point they'll be together. So back on the boat, Captain Carey's eating lobster and FaceTiming his girlfriend. And
as one does.
As one does. He had like a whole platter of lobster. And he's planning to learn Turkish so that he can ask his girlfriend's mother for her hand in marriage.
So sweet. Now, Sarah, I feel like we probably saw her at BravoCon in the evening. Like after day 1 on Friday, maybe. Or was that Captain Glenn's girlfriend?
Yeah.
They're both absolutely stunning. So it's hard to tell. It was hard
I think they both might be from Turkey.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think they are. I don't know which one we saw, but I was on the flight, or I was like in line at Delta with Captain Carey on the way home from BravoCon. So I saw her. So I know I saw her because
we were in line with Captain Lee because he came to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh yeah. That's fun. Did you talk to him at all?
No, because we were just like, he was in a wheelchair. So I'm like, same. No. Like, we were just pooped.
I wasn't even sure if that was him. I was like,
old guy?
Is it? I'm like, he looks familiar. And then Kay told me, and I'm like, wow, here we are.
So, well, that's why he's not on this season, because he's not getting around too well. So, okay. So Ben and Sunny are starting to get cozy on the dance floor on the night out. And Kyle tells Fraser and Zandy that Barbie is the kind of girl that he would want to take home to meet his family, because she is a woman and he is not yet a man.
Kyle cracks me up, and Fraser's expression when he's telling him that says it all. It's just this really okay kind of look.
I kind of respected it because at least you know you're not a man yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
at
mean,
Know
least
that this woman will better you.
he's that
and we find
self-aware.
out he's 27. So there you go. At least, that's the first step. You got to admit it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, Ben and Sunny are dancing in the rain, and it's just an absolutely perfect moment for Ben, the hopeless romantic that he is. So
Yeah, Ben
we shall see.
fell in love with two stews last season, so
Mhm.
this is just what he does. So everyone's dancing, having a good time, but the camera keeps panning over to Kat, who's sitting at the table, and she just looks wet, and she's trying
Yeah.
to put on her shoes for a very long time.
I feel
Kat
so
has
bad
been
for her.
going through
Yeah.
it, and it's like,
Mhm.
same girl. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're feeling
I
it.
know that they pull you're probably gonna get into it when he pulls her aside and he's like, I think that Kat is just like someone who's very sensitive, and they show her like a flashback of her crying, and like she has a
Yeah.
really interesting backstory. So you'll get
Yeah,
into it.
she
Yeah.
does. So in the vans on the way back to the boat, Jared tells Barbie, I don't know you from a can of paint, but I feel like when I look in your eyes, I find truth. She takes
Hot.
a beat and then she starts laughing, which honestly is the only acceptable response to this.
Yes. What a horrible pickup line. Like,
What? And that wouldn't
Yeah.
work on you, Kelly?
no, surprisingly. But especially after a long night of drinking, I'm pretty sure I'd be like, excuse me, what? What are we talking about? Where
I
am I
felt
right
that
now?
was so romantic. Would that work on you, Sarah?
No, it would not work
Dead.
for me. We're,
Aaron.
Oh,
see,
don't lie.
we're older than you guys and jaded.
Aaron, it wouldn't work on you either. I'm just odd
Yeah.
man out. What? Okay, so what is a pickup line that would work on you guys after a long night of drinking? Because usually guys aren't even that respectful. They would say
Yeah,
something
that's true.
inappropriate.
It was very sweet. I would be more down with like, hey, do you want to make out?
I know that's right. Okay.
Let's just get right to it.
Yeah.
Don't
I think
Don't
it's
sugarcoat it.
let's go.
it's weird though, because while this is going on, the cameras are like this close because the room is so tiny.
Yeah,
So they're like right there.
right.
So what do you do in a situation like that?
I know.
I think I would just crawl in the bed and just be like, another time.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay, so when they get back to the boat, it's hot tub time, except for Fraser. He goes to bed.
Because he's smart. But the rest of them, they're dancing, they're having fun, and they are so sunburnt, like so bad. And all I could think, and they got in the hot tub, and I could feel the heat hitting the leg. Was that Zandy's legs that were
Yeah,
like
from the kayaking.
crazy burnt? They all needed some aloe vera, like cold aloe vera,
For sure.
and to not get in the hot tub.
Speaking of
Ouch.
Zandy, she was dancing kind of on the side and she took that hilarious spill to the hot tub. That was pretty
I'm
great.
so sorry. It was awesome. And then she just got right back up.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
that's me. I can relate to that a lot.
She's like trying to look super sexy on the side.
Just when you're drunk, you just keep
You
it
get
going.
clumsy. I get extremely clumsy, so I understand that.
Yeah. So Ben gets her a towel and walks her down to her room. I was a little worried about what was going to happen there.
Right.
I think Sunny, she saw what was happening, and that's when she got on her phone and texted him, like, hey, do you want to sneak away somewhere and have a little kiss? And so he goes down to her room and they make out. It's actually very sweet, I thought.
And that's it. That's all they did.
Yeah.
No dropping of anchors or anything. So
And he left. It was so respectful. Like afterwards,
Right.
I thought they were just gonna cut away and just like leave us to what we felt happened, but
Yeah,
it was like, no, I'm out.
that's good. We don't always see that. So the next day, Jared's up early making sure the boat is neat and clean before Captain Carey gets up.
I'm impressed. And all he said was he needs to start thinking past the tip of his nose. And all I kept thinking was, all right, Mary Poppins, like, what is this? Like past the end of your nose. Like, what is going on?
So Fraser is switching up the stew jobs this charter. He's going to have Kat do housekeeping and then Zandy on service, and then Barbie's going to be helping kind of wherever is needed.
Gonna be interesting.
Yes. So the preference sheet meeting. So we have Tara and Steven with several of their friends that are couples, and they want to have a vow renewal ceremony by a waterfall. And then one of the couples is actually going to get married. And they also want surf and turf and an old Hollywood dinner. So
Sounds fun.
Fraser has a meeting with Kat, and he wants to listen to her more because he knows, how sensitive she can be. I mean, she was crying like within the first 6 hours, like the first day, where they even had guests on.
Yeah.
And she shares with him that both her parents died when she was young, and she and her brother were separated and put into the foster care system. And her foster family was super religious. She described it as a religious cult. And when she turned 18, she was able to reconnect with her brother, and they kept her apart. This is such a horrible story. I did not see this
Yeah.
coming at all.
Mm-mm.
And I'm feeling bad because we said kind of bad things about her in the first episode.
That happens all the time until you like get
Yeah.
to know why someone is that way.
That's
So
true.
we find ourselves doing that a lot with the housewives, or like it's like, oh my God, why is Monica Garcia like that? And then you get introduced to her mom.
mother.
So it's just,
Yeah.
that's what happens. So when she explained all of that, I just felt so bad for her. And it's like, no wonder she's so like on edge all the time, because
Yeah.
she just has no sense of stability. And I feel like that, even though, you know, being on a charter and being in that industry, you can make a lot of money and get to see the world. I feel like that still doesn't really give you a sense of stability because you're always on the go.
Yeah.
Definitely
So it's just
not.
interesting that that is what she chose, or, you know, what she kind of fell into.
Yeah.
So I wonder sometimes
Yeah.
if she's just like, oh my God, I'm on the other side of the world. I have no one with me, you know,
Yeah.
I just don't even know like what to do. So
That's a really
Yeah.
good point. Like not having that home base, you know? Like a lot of these yachties, they'll go home and like hang out at their parents' house for a few weeks or a few months. But like, what does she do? You know, I'm sure
and that
she
like
visits her
grounds
brother.
you. So you got to imagine like, what is she doing? And it's just, I don't know. It was a lot, but she can still be a little annoying. We can have space. We can have space and say, yeah, you know, she may have grown up this way and she is sensitive, but she also was annoying when she did this.
Right, that's
True.
true.
But
And now it makes more sense why she and Barbie would butt heads also. Like Barbie's had this super privileged life with 3 nannies,
Right.
and this girl's an orphan. Like, wow.
yeah. And maybe she also wants a friendship with Barbie.
Yeah.
And her way of doing that is like, hey, come here and clean this table with me real quick. And let's
Yeah.
bond.
Yeah. No, that
Let's
could be.
do it together.
So the next day, Fraser and Zandy find the cabins unacceptable, and Fraser changes Zandy back to housekeeping because she's really good at it, and then tells Kat, like, this charter, you have to learn as much as you can from Zandy, and then puts Barbie back on service.
I'm hoping this is more productive for everyone. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and it gives Kat a chance to learn from Zandy, who really knows what she's doing. So that'll be good.
There's always a very steep learning curve for these people that are really green in the industry. So Fraser shares how he got into yachting, and he basically was a stew for the crew, like not even for the guests. And he was treated really horribly by this chief engineer. And Fraser told himself, you know, I have to just keep going because one day I'll be at the top. And, you know, now he is. So I'm glad he
Strong
did.
person. Strong.
So Fraser reminds Barbie, you know, please be kind to Kat, this charter. And she does not like this. She thinks he's being a total dick, basically.
And this whole like the fighting between those two, it's not as loud and dramatic as Nat and Kyle from the last season of Med, but it's starting to head that direction. And with Fraser being the boss, like he's got to nip this quick.
Yeah, for sure. This is not our favorite. We prefer fun, everybody getting along. We don't like the like fighting. So the guests arrive, and Fraser says they seem fun but tacky.
My kind of people. Let's go.
So Barbie and Fraser have a disagreement about how to make a margarita. He just wants them made really fast, and Barbie's giving him some attitude.
She legit pulled out a recipe book for a margarita and showed him, well, this is how you make it. Just make the damn drink. Like, the guest is waiting. Like, come on, we'll figure it out later. Tequila.
Like, how hard
wine,
is it to
ice,
make a margarita? Like, I would feel like anyone, especially in the yachting industry, would just know how to make a margarita. Just throw the alcohol in, throw the sweet in, and then put some salt around that baby, put a lime on it, and go. Like,
and if you make it right, they won't even care. So,
right.
You're right.
So now it's lunchtime. Kat doesn't even know how to set the table, like where the knives and forks go. Doesn't it seem like they should have a school for this, like before you get to become a stew?
Yeah, the
I
freaking
how does this happen?
I don't know.
I learned how to set the table when I was 5, but before that, because my great grandma was like, "No, this is how you do it." Okay, but
Okay.
I'm like, how do you become a stewardess?
I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's one of those pressure type of things too. Because I know
Oh,
like if
yeah.
I'm being filmed and if I'm under a lot of pressure, I tend to forget the most simple things. I'm kind
That's
of
a good
like
point.
Jared in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. The food does look really incredible. The guests say it looks way better, or it's way better than Chili's.
well,
That's good.
that's fantastic. I would hope so. It looked amazing, much better than the baby back ribs they have. So,
Yeah. So the chef has not made enough food for the crew. All the chicken is gone by the time Captain Carey gets down there, and Barbie and
yeah.
Fraser haven't eaten yet either. Don't you feel like this is kind of a French thing? Like they eat like small, very small portions,
Small
like of
plates.
beautiful food.
Yeah. I'm not sure
extremely
he
like
understands fully
European.
what he's supposed to do for them.
Yeah, like these people are
Yeah.
working so hard. They need to like shovel it in. They need a bunch of food.
He's giving them like tapas.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally.
Here's a quarter
So,
of a piece of chicken and some asparagus. Enjoy.
yeah, Captain Carey was like, we're gonna need like each crew member needs a piece of chicken. He's like, oh, okay.
Like if you don't give me a full pot of chili, I have to work. I have no time for these like appetizers.
Right.
Right.
So Ben takes the guests water skiing. That looked very fun. Not to me,
And
but somebody would enjoy that.
when they get back on the boat, they're greeted with hand towels to, refresh themselves and blue drinks. Did
Ugh,
you notice that, Sarah?
I did not.
Blue drinks. So, dearest Fraser, who listens to our recap show, can you please let us know what these drinks are? Like, I've seen them on other seasons. Is it blue flavor? Because I think we all know what blue flavor is, like blue raspberry. But when you ask people what flavor is it, and you say blue, you immediately know. Or is it like hypnotic, like the liquor that is kind of blue? I don't know. Help us out.
Like blue, what is that called when they put it in is it blue carousel? What is
Yeah,
it?
Oh,
Like
curacao. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, but it's just like every time it's a blue drink. I don't know.
It's very like frat party. It doesn't really scream super
Yes.
yacht. So
it's not very classy, but it is fun. Like, yeah, give me
Yeah.
that blue dye number 4. Why
Yeah.
not?
yeah. And I mean, that's what these guests really require, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So Fraser and Barbie chat, and she explains how she's feeling and how he says he will not accept, how she speaks to him. And she promised him that she's going to work on her attitude. See how that goes. So
Okay.
the theme of tonight's dinner is game night, tailgating, football. I never thought I would see red solo cups on a super yacht.
Red Solo cups for the win. They're so versatile, Sarah. You can drink champagne, you can drink orange juice, a
Flip
little bit of
cup.
everything
Yeah.
in there. Vodka, yeah, just
Yeah.
load it up.
So Fraser has a whistle. He's dressed like a ref, and everything's going really well until the steak, which is apparently really chewy.
The guest says, I could use some Cheez-Its and wine because I'm keeping it classy. And I felt that. Like I felt like I could get along with that. Chef also says in regards to the chewy steak, we're on an island. What do you think? They're out there making fillets all the time? No. So I don't
Yeah.
know where he got his meat from.
I will say I am a scuba diver, so I've been to some of these Caribbean islands, and it's slim pickings, like at the grocery stores, and like sometimes it's hard to find fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. So I am always impressed that they can even find a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
true.
think that is something we forget. Like they might only get a shipment into the island like once a week, with like
Yeah.
fresh stuff.
It
So
is
That's
different than the
wild.
med. Yeah, for sure.
So do they usually just have like a bunch of fresh seafood?
it depends what the guests want, but yeah, you'll see a lot of seafood towers, and they're supposed to be able to get like basically whatever they want. And it seems like there's a whole industry that caters, like there's someone on land that's a provisioner that like is sourcing and finding all this stuff for people. I mean, there's like the most random stuff. Like, I don't know, we've seen blow up dolls.
Yeah,
Just-
I've seen like a lot of bachelorette parties and stuff, and they would,
Yeah.
request certain things. I'm like, how are they supposed to find
yeah, how do
these
you
things in a small
yes.
town in Con? Like, what is going on?
Right, exactly.
Uh,
So, okay, so let's see. So, the guests go to bed relatively early, thank goodness, and Barbie and Kyle have a little late night chat. So, the next day, Sunny rides a jet ski without a life jacket and without the kill switch clipped to her, which is dangerous. And Jared tells her, like, when she comes back. But then Ben gets over the radio and announces it for everybody to hear, and including Captain Carey, and
right.
Sunny's super annoyed.
He didn't need to do that. Ben
No.
knows what he's doing. He's out there like
I
stirring the
agree.
pot.
Yeah, Ben wants to be the bosun, so he wants to make Jared look bad, and yeah,
So do
Yeah,
y'all
he
think
wants to make
it's
out with her. I don't get it.
yeah,
do y'all think it's over for them now?
it seems that way. Oh, you think
Mhm.
not, Kelly?
I think he's going to keep Sunny on the side as a fling and a I'm super drunk, let's get together kind of thing,
Yeah,
but I don't
in
know. I mean,
previews
it's
it
the third
shows he's
episode in and he's already got a girlfriend and he said he wasn't going to do that or he's already hooked up with someone. Ugh, fix that
yeah,
statement. But yeah, so
yeah. The
I don't know.
previews show that he is also going to hook up with somebody else, another stew, and there's going to be a conflict there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Mm.
But there's something called like I don't know, like crew goggles. Like there's only so many people available. You're lonely, you're away from your family, so you end up hooking up with people that maybe you wouldn't normally.
It's like
Yeah, I
anyone
could see
starts
that.
looking good after a while.
Yeah.
That's right. I've told this story before, but I used to work on boats and I was reading, what was it? 50 Shades of Grey back in the day. And I was reading it on the boat and I was like, I would literally get with anybody on this boat right now. Been out here for like 10 days.
Just
Anyway,
you and Christian just reading away.
yes, exactly. Let's get into some other Bravo shows. First, Traitors, because I can't wait any longer. What do you
Oh.
guys think it is that makes this show so bingeable, so watchable? Like, what is it that has us all crazy for this show?
It's the fact that we have housewives on, namely Phaedra Parks, of course, but just the housewives element in general. Because people from Big Brother and Survivor,
Right.
of course, it's a competition show. They're used to living with each other. They're used to having to maybe like vote people out or push people out and strategize. But with housewives, it's like, no, we're glamorous women. We argue and fight with each other. And at the end of the day, who stays or goes is up to Andy Cohen. We're not competing for a prize, really. We're just competing to stay on the next season. So we're going to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
So if you bring that element in with people who are used to competing for a prize and really like just thugging it out, it's just this mishmash of different personalities and different styles and all those things together and people to root for, and seeing them out of their element is
Yeah.
just so interesting. And how are they going to handle certain things is so interesting. I know that's what has me addicted to it. Aaron, what do you think?
I feel the same way. I think it's just watching them play the game in their own way. Like some people, we're seeing Dan and how he played, some more
Yeah.
crappy than others, because I felt like Dan did a horrible job and he let his ego
Totally.
get in the way. But then
Yeah.
we're seeing people like Parvati, and she is a traitor along with Phaedra, but we kind of see how that goes when she has to throw Phaedra out there once again, because she did it before, but now she has to do it again to see if she can possibly save herself. So it's very interesting. And I think what even made it more interesting was when they brought Peter in,
Yeah.
because Peter plays the game crazy. I want to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
he's a great player, which is why he needs to go.
Yeah. Until
Yes.
the most recent episode. Now I'm like, what is he doing?
Oh,
Mhm.
he's outing himself. He's making himself look like a traitor.
Yeah.
He's flailing,
And
and
that's what
I'm
Phaedra's
so happy
saying.
about it.
Yeah.
I think,
See.
well, let me ask you guys this. Are you rooting for the traitors or the faithfuls?
The
The
Traitors.
Traitors.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the show unique is like you're kind of rooting for the bad guys, and that's fun, you know?
Yes.
It is. It's so fun, and just seeing like how you can be in a house and you have to form an alliance with someone that you're not sure if they're a
Right.
traitor or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you react to that, because everyone is just like, oh, I trust you, and they're talking either directly to a traitor or
Yeah.
Right.
or someone's been, tried to get recruited, or they're accusing someone who isn't a traitor. It's just so fun, and I'm so glad that we know who it is, because I think it
Yeah.
would be annoying if we didn't. I really wouldn't like the show, because then I'd be pissed off, especially if they got the wrong person out. But
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just so fun, like a mix of like Bachelor and then Bling Empire and Housewives and RuPaul's Drag Race. I really hated how they did Peppermint. Like that would have been such a fun
I know.
Yeah.
time if she was there, because she's so funny.
Mhm.
But it's just so many different personalities in one place. Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you guys watch season 1?
I didn't.
I
Oh,
tried, but
I
I'm
know
like,
you guys like Kate Chastain like we do.
yes.
I feel like you
Yes.
definitely need to go back and watch season 1 for that reason. She is so hilarious in season 1. Like she wants to go home and they will not let her.
When she was like, I will give up any one of you for $10. I was like, you know what?
Yes.
Real.
Yes.
Real.
I will
like it.
throw you in a moat for $10.
Yes. So good.
Yeah, it made a lot of noise on social media when it first came out. I do remember it. Everyone was like, "Oh, so good, so good." But then I watched it, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just Kyle and like some." And then I think they had regular people on too.
Yeah, a few regular people.
Yeah, what they really got me here was like these are all people who have been on TV before.
They all know
And
it
then-
makes good TV.
Yeah, and these are people that I actually like know. So I
Right.
think that's the difference. And I went back to try to watch it again after I originally tried to watch it when they said it was good. And I don't know, there's something about it, especially because they got rid of Reza the first episode, and Reza's so messy that I was like, oh, he's
Kelly's
gonna make this
boyfriend.
show. So he
My
left the
best friend.
first.
Yes.
He left the first episode. So it was just like, I'm still not into this. But I feel like I might want to, like, I'll have Traitors withdrawal after this is over with.
Oh, I
Yeah.
So I
know.
might go back, and then I'm like, well, I'll take what I can get.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about watching Traitors Australia or UK because I'm gonna majorly
They said
go
that's
through
really
withdrawal.
good.
Yeah, it looks good.
So let's talk about Miss Phaedra Parks, who is just our number one. The only kind of semi mistake I think Phaedra has made as a traitor is when she's at breakfast and like they find out who's been murdered, and she's like, "Are there any hard-boiled eggs?" You know, she's looking for croissants, whatever. She is like at an all-inclusive resort, and she's there for the luxury and the food.
Oh my God, there's this part, because you guys went to BravoCon, right?
Yeah.
We went to, were you in VIP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, there was this part where in VIP where they were serving, I think that was the last day, they were serving like pork belly skins. And Aaron was like obsessed with them. And on Traitors, Phaedra, like there was a part where Phaedra's just in the room, the dining hall by herself, and she's like, pork belly. I'm like, this is literally Aaron at Bravo.
That was me with the pork belly and the chicken sliders. Like every time I seen the chicken slider, I'm like, yeah.
I like hardly saw any food in there. We must have been there at the wrong times.
It was
you had to
rare
hang out
occasions.
But you had to hang out by the kitchen, because once they came out, everyone would literally like, they sent 3 people out with like 4 little appetizers on each plate, and I'm like, VIP is full of like over 100 people, and there's nothing but alcohol, and we're all hungry. It was just like the best time, but we were just so hungry.
Bravo Palooza though, that was the best one, because
we
they
didn't
just
do a Bravo Palooza.
Oh my god,
the food was better there, and it turned out like they gave you a free drink ticket too. But I was so fat, I did not notice that there was a free drink. I was just trying to eat as many like little burgers because those freaking chicken tenders or whatever that they were selling, and then the bowls, the teriyaki bowls in the dining hall,
Yeah.
all that was like $18, $20. I'm just like, no, I'm in VIP, so I'm gonna, put it to the test.
Yeah.
I love that.
We did.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I do want to talk more about BravoCon, but let's wrap up our traders thing. What challenge was your favorite that they've done this season?
Ooh.
The
For
bird
me,
one.
the bird one. Yeah.
I was gonna say that too. That was hilarious. Oh,
I like
calling.
the cemetery one with the spotlight. I don't know why. I just thought that was like, it just reminded me of playing tag in the dark.
Yeah.
It was
like
cool, but it
flashlight
was
tag or
frustrating
something.
because they kept getting out until Bergie like figured out the timing.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what was going on there. I'll be honest. Like, it was just
I
too
would have felt
much.
that.
They didn't
easily.
either.
I did not like the one with the bugs and the things.
cabin?
And
the most recent one?
trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blech.
That was
Oh
Fear
my God.
Factor. That gave me Fear Factor.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I didn't
Poor
like it because
Sheree.
I know I wouldn't be able to do it, and it did creep me out. But just watching them freak out, and especially Sheree when she came out screaming, and Phaedra's like, "I got you, I'm gonna help you," and Sheree's just screaming. Relatable. I love just
So-
watching them together. That just an added extra of seeing the girls together.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think there was a meme that said like find yourself a friend that's willing to get maggots off your back for you or something.
Exactly.
Important.
MJ was out, like she was the first one.
Yeah.
To just like say it's not worth it. And they're like, oh, you get like $1,000 off. I would have $1,000. Bye.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
nothing. I will throw
That's
that away.
fine.
I would have
Yeah.
even went in. Like, just take it off ahead of time, babes. Like,
Yeah.
you have to crawl. Like, not only are you in this thing, but they expected them fully. Like, if they went through with the challenge, they would have to crawl through the space and have stuff dropped on them in the dark underneath in the tunnels on your no. Just take the $1,000.
Yeah. And the
It was a
light
hard
switch
pass.
thing, that was awful.
Yeah.
So I love all of Kate's reactions to Phaedra, like at the round table. Like Kate gets such a kick out of Phaedra. Like Kate is us when Phaedra says something hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that John did not fall for Parvati's sob story. Like I thought he was kind of getting wrapped up in it when she was talking to him, but
Yeah.
I
did not expect that.
Right? Like I thought John fell for it.
Yeah.
But then he goes, I do have a thought. And I'm like, what's the thought? And he's like, well, poverty is definitely untrustable. Whatever he says. And I'm
Like the emperor, the something of deception, or the mistress of whatever.
Yes.
First of all, I love him. I think I liked him when he was in the British House of Commons as the speaker, because he was just this little guy and he was just super fun. But not that I really watched like British politicians.
I know.
I was like,
he was just memorable. No, but he played the whole lawyer moment there. Like poker face. I will not play poker with this man. And he had fantastic observations and things to say. So
he's really had some good moments at the round table, John.
Just like at the last one when he made that whole like speech, and I'm like, wait, we're counting this man out. He was the first one out of the underground thing too. I'm just like, maybe John is the one who we need to like. Has anyone ever noticed that the small man with like the most amazing things to say could also be a traitor? Like no one's suspicious of him. And of course, I mean he's not, but it's like, hold on. Maybe you
got to watch out for the scrappy ones.
Totally. So we put together our top 5 favorite Traitors moments. Did you guys compile your list?
We have a combined list, yes.
Okay, all right. Let's hear your top 5 Traitors moments from the season.
You can go first, Aaron. I'll go.
Okay, the first one we already mentioned, which was the bird calling challenge. That was like one of our favorite moments. That's actually the number one.
Yeah.
Yes, just hearing them repeat those sounds. And I didn't even know birds made some of those noises. But the second one is Dan finally getting banished after trying to
Yes.
conspire against Phaedra. When, oh my God, there's just so many different moments where they just all turned on him. It was just like they took turns getting into him, and he finally had to admit it. But I think that my favorite like sub moment of that was when Phaedra had to rip him apart, and then Kate was just like, "Oh, you think that she's extra? Have you seen her?" It was just so funny.
Yeah,
I did. I like that. And then it was Phaedra calling Kevin Calvin, writing his name as Calvin on the paper. I was like,
Kelvin.
and that's not the first time I've seen that. They spell each other's name wrong quite a few times. Like
Yeah.
if you
Oh my gosh.
do it.
all the time. I like seeing everybody's handwriting, like how big or small it is too.
That would be one thing that I would do. I'd like walk around the house and like try to make everyone write something to see like what's going on, who's a traitor, who's not.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, strategy. But Parvati poisoning Ekin-Su, which happened earlier in the season. Such a good moment, especially the way that they freaking closed that casket on Ekin-Su and we like never saw her again. They shut that casket so hard. Like, is she okay? Like, and I just thought, I thought like, okay, she can't really actually be in the casket. But after seeing how they snatched our housewives up and put them up in a tree, like, no, these people are performing their own stunts for sure.
They have to be. And definitely Phaedra calling Bergie Burgalicious. When she's like, not my Burgalicious. I love that. That was top 5. Had to be top 5 moments.
Yes. Okay, was that 5? Okay, Kelly, maybe we can take turns saying these. Okay. Let's start at 5.
All right, number 5. The sparks between CT and Phaedra.
Ooh.
The ship that I did not need that I needed. Like did not know that I needed.
Yeah. So we'll see. Kind of fun. I like it.
It made me nervous. He was like, I'm not here for love.
Yeah.
But then he was like, I can't go against you on the word of a known traitor. So I'm like, you love her. Bye.
You love her. Totally. It was really hard for me not to pick 5 Phaedra things like for this.
Right?
Because she's such a star. Okay, so number 4 is Phaedra saying, "Oh my Lord, sweet baby Jesus, not Ekin-Su." Alan said somebody was gonna cross stitch him a pillow with that on it.
We kept repeating every week. She gives us something to repeat.
She's so good.
Every week.
Number 3 is Sheree freaking out in the maggot cabin. Haggis! Haggis!
Her, MJ, Phaedra, like anytime I just don't want to deal with something, I'm just gonna be like haggis.
Yes. Number 2 is when Bergie figured out the pattern of the lights in the graveyard. I felt like we had kind of ruled him out, like he was not going to be a very interesting player, and then he's like, oh, he's actually kind of smart and figured this out.
Yeah.
And then
number 1 is Phaedra taking Dan down at the round table. I do too much because you do too little.
A word.
The best.
Love it.
That whole episode, that whole scene is just incredible.
Cinematic.
Oh, the traitors. Okay, so I kind of looked to see what other shows you guys watch that we watch. Potomac is one.
Love Potomac.
How are you guys liking this season? Not liking it?
It's something to watch, I guess, but it's like not, like maybe they just need a little break. Or something,
You know it's bad when King said that maybe they need a little break.
Yeah.
Because usually I'm the one to say that.
Yeah. I've tried to keep it like all season. I've been like, just give it some time. Oh, we're picking up. Oh no, don't give it up yet. But now it's like, okay, we're about to go towards the end of the tail end of the season. And I'm not gonna say it's been totally bad. Like I've had moments. Karen has been a star for me personally. Like
Karen,
for
sure.
Especially like when they took her to the farm and just her in general.
Did you like the yard work that they did there? Like
yes, that
a
was
rake.
like
I'm
one
like,
of my favorite moments of the season so far. It's like, yes, put these girls to work. And she also was going to tell me like, oh, I heard you were creeping with the rapper or whatever. And if you've seen social media, she is with like I think he's like a DJ or something that she's
really
known from
okay.
high school. So her and Gordon aren't together. So I'm like, Karen knows what she's talking about, honey. She might be. She might think she's Beyonce, and you know what? She kind of is the Beyonce of Bravo, but not all of it is like BS because they like to write her off as like a kooky old woman. But she has been right on quite a few things. So,
okay. All right. Well, we'll have to see. Hopefully, do you think it needs a refresh or a pause or just like some fresh storylines?
Like maybe not a pause, just some casting changes.
Yeah, I can see that.
And rewatch season 1. I just want them to all, and I wish a lot of shows would do that. Like when it gets really bad, just your assignment is to go back home and watch your best seasons. So you can come back to the drawing board with ideas and be authentic instead of trying to figure out what the audience wants every year, because that's clearly not working for them.
Right. And the constant fighting is just annoying. And that's just across the board for all the housewives. Like,
yeah,
I get it, but
like beating
Miami is doing such a good job that they'll have a spat and then they're like an episode later, okay, let's just make up. Even if I don't like the girl, we made up and we're filming together and we're doing what we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Beverly Hills, how are you feeling about this season of Beverly Hills?
Oof, great. I love it.
Yeah.
They're doing so good.
Me too. I'm so interested in sorry, I know I always have something to say. I'm so interested in Sutton's dating life. I just want to see like
I know
with that. So
I kind of like this guy that she's been on 2 dates with, that she played darts with. I thought he was very handsome, and she's a weird bird. So like
I think he can handle it. Like because he's like, oh, what about the next date? I'm like, listen, this is going great from a girl who doesn't get more than past the first date.
Yeah. When Sutton first came on, I was like, we don't need to see her again. Like she didn't have a great first season, but she is so strange, which is what makes a housewife, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got to be quirky and weird and have some unusual things about you. So I'm loving her. Garcelle's sons, they're hard on her, right? The story.
I feel so bad for Garcelle because she's like, I am doing the best I can. And they're like, we're just too old for you to be a parent, mom. And it's just like, ugh.
Aren't they teenagers?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, something like that. I'm like, no.
I feel like on the inside, they're like 50. Because they're so wise.
Right.
Yeah. They do seem really wise.
Right.
Yeah. And then poor Kyle and Mauricio, that whole situation. I guess
I don't understand that.
Yeah, what do you not understand?
Mauricio looks so great, and I'm like,
you're like, make it work. He's hot.
Kyle needs more. She needs more. Apparently.
But I love this for Kyle too. Like, even though I'm just like, I don't understand that one part, I'm like, she has to sort her stuff out. But I do think that her and Mauricio will get back together at some point.
Okay. Ooh. I mean, they've been together a long time. But they've both changed so much. That's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Okay. I know Salt Lake City isn't happening right now, but I just wanted to say that you guys did that Twitter takeover for Hurrdat, and I thought your tweets were so funny. They were so good.
That was so fun.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Salt Lake City was 10 out of 10. Such a good season.
From it was one of the best.
Beginning to end. Like, what a run, especially because how do you top a season where one of your cast members literally goes to jail? So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be hard to top. And then we just get an amazing season with an amazing villain and an amazing, like, it was just wow.
Yeah, and the
Wow.
fact that it was kept a surprise the whole time, like,
Right.
pretty
And
awesome.
I was so mad that there wasn't a Salt Lake City panel for BravoCon.
Yeah.
But then when I sat back and thought about it, I'm like, oh,
They
there could
couldn't.
not be a panel.
Yeah. So I'm not totally caught up on Miami, but I am like working through the most recent season. You guys are Miami people?
I am completely caught up. Aaron does watch in and out, and I tell him when it gets good.
Okay. That's good.
I'm like you, I have to catch up because for Miami, like some episodes are too slow, and I'm like, I'll be back. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good binge for some people. Like it's almost
Yeah.
over. The reunion is coming up. So if you're not a week-to-week person with Miami, I think you guys should just wait and just binge it. Me, I'm a week-to-week person because I like, since we live in South Florida, I like seeing the spots that they're filming in. I'm like, this is not even Miami at all. This is actually down the street. Like, it's just weird to see. And then also I like how they're able to fight and make up and, you know, resolve their issues, and then also have a lot going on. They address things that are going on off screen and have a self-proclaimed pot stirrer. Like Adriana is just like, well, yeah, I hate Larsa, so I'm going to bring up anything that I find on her. So yeah, I heard this, I heard that. It's just really
so
messy and crazy. So
yeah.
I'm loving Miami. It's really good.
Yeah, I love all the outfits and just the colors and seeing their houses and
glamorous.
And it's so much money. Like, so much money. These are some things I wrote down. I wrote down Larsa is a monster.
Yep.
But somehow she was good at figuring out who the traitors were when she was on Traitors.
Because look at her personality.
Yeah.
If you're a terrible person, you can find other terrible people.
And then I wrote, why did Alexia marry Todd? He just seems like fame hungry and anger issues, and I don't know.
I always think that Alexia is like the Cuban Teresa.
She is.
Like Todd is kind of like Louis in a sense. And it was weird because there was a whole rumor that Louis actually wanted Alexia.
Ooh.
And they got into a fight at the airport about it.
Oh my god.
So right after BravoCon. So it's just so insane. Todd has a lot of money. So that'll answer your question. Todd.
That answers that. Nicole and Sean, I know she's a doctor, but what does he do?
He's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. He must be a really expensive.
To have a
They were looking at yachts that were $8 to $11 million, and I just don't understand. I don't understand how these people have this much money. It's unreal.
Like, I know that doctors make a lot, and I know that lawyers make a lot, but it's just like, what is going on? But she explained that that they do like buildings, and I guess maybe they're like, I don't know, like they built houses and stuff like that. But you know, every franchise has that what is it called? Like when someone doesn't pay their taxes, or they have a scandal. So I know it's coming.
A scandal.
I hope it's not Nicole because I like her, but
yeah,
if I could,
seems nice.
Gotta be her.
Poor Lisa going through it with Lenny. I like that she had to set a reminder on her phone to check in with her boyfriend.
That's who I feel bad for, Jody. Like,
yeah, he seems like a very nice guy, and all she can do is talk about Lenny. But she does seem extremely self-absorbed, like Larsa, so I kind of understand how they're friends.
Yeah.
I just watched the episode that had the Mamacita party, the Mother's Day party, and Anna, who was on like early days of Miami, like showed up. She has a podcast on Hurrdat. I was like wondering why she looked familiar, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen her on the old Instagram.
I want to talk to her because I feel like she knows things.
Oh, I think she definitely knows things. We definitely listen to that. So Kelly's been trying to get me to watch Married to Medicine for several years. I did go to the panel and was like, wow, these are some.
Didn't they give you a show? Like
major. I felt like it was a great episode of TV, like the panel.
Oh yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
The
start,
early
Sarah?
seasons.
I started one episode and I was just like, I don't think I have the bandwidth to learn all these people. But I
Okay.
need to. I need
Because
like a
you
week
know
to like
why? It's
dive in.
because we have a lot of things going on right now, but it's
Yeah.
going to slow down. And when we're in that lull, take that
Yes.
Yeah.
free time that you have. Because look, Traitors is about to end. Miami is about to end. Salt Lake City ended. You're
Yeah.
going to have this free time.
Good point.
So take that free time, get caught up, because Kelly's right.
Yeah. So should I start at the beginning? Like
Yeah,
season
I would
one?
recommend it.
Okay.
And the good thing about it is the cast doesn't really change. Like
Okay.
I'd
No.
say
Oh, I like that.
maybe one person kind of like leaves and then they come
Yeah.
back, but for
Yeah.
the most part, it's just the same cast.
Okay.
I love it because it's these women who have worked so hard to come to where they are, and they're doctors, and they're not just doctors, but they're amazing at what they do. And I love sitting in the panel. I think we were like in the second row, and I loved it. And I was sitting next to friends of some of the cast members. And so I was trying to like look to the side while they were texting to see like who they were chatting with, but I couldn't figure it out. But they were the sweetest people. So I was wondering, what did you think about Phaedra joining the cast this season?
I loved it. I thought it was a great idea. Uh a lot of people were saying that they kind of just threw her in there, which
Yeah.
I do believe they did. I don't think she really had a doctor boyfriend or whatever they said she had. I just
Yeah.
think that they were like, you know what, this sounds like good TV.
Yep.
She's in Atlanta. This is still an Atlanta group, and they know each other. They network with each other, and they're actually friends in real life. So
And
it
she
would just
can't
be
go
great
back
for
to
her to go
Housewives
over
because
there.
Candy was still on there.
Yeah.
So this is somewhere that Candy isn't, that she would fit in with. She's friends with Quad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's good. It's good. And now they're saying maybe she needs to go back to Atlanta now that Candy's gone. And I'm just like, I don't know. Can she do both?
We
Can
want
she
her
just
on
be
all
in
the shows.
all the franchises? That'd be great. A little Phaedra for everybody.
I
Put
would
her
love to
on
see
OC.
her being the first housewife to do two franchises at the same time. I think that would be really cool.
That
That
would
would
be
be
neat.
cool. Yeah.
So what did you think about Quad showing up to the bachelorette party?
Genius. Like I just
Yeah.
felt like she has been able to handle it with just such grace and class, and she isn't really bothered, and they kind of like want to make her seem bothered. And
Yeah.
I also commend the way that Sweet Tea handled it, because let's just be real, Sweet Tea's a fan. She's a fan of Married to Medicine. I don't care what anyone says. She's a fan of Miss Quad. That's why she asked her to sit by her. So it was just like a moment that didn't go as we expected, but it was still entertaining at the same time.
True.
And Sarah, Quad's been on the show since the beginning, and she has been through it. Like she's rocky, horrible marriage to this guy that makes his way back, which I was very disappointed to see that. But she kept on her 2 feet. She kept moving forward, and now she's still a part of the show. I love her. She's amazing. So
she got it. She got it.
Yeah.
Wow. So going back to BravoCon, are you guys planning to go this year, assuming they'll have it?
Well, as long as they keep sending us those free tickets, as long as they'll have us, we'll have them.
Nice.
I actually really loved Vegas. Like I didn't dislike the city, but I like the setup of BravoCon better than, because I went to the one in New York the year before. It was just like more room. It was very well.
More bathrooms. So many bathrooms.
Oh my God.
So many bathrooms.
The VIP room was great. That was where, and then also like for people who didn't even have VIP, if I had general admission, you could go with general admission and you could literally just go to the bazaar and still meet your faves. And the app really helps you find who you want to see. There was that stage with Donald, like the stage that everyone would come down. It was just really fun time. I would love to go again. Would you guys go again?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. It's like the highlight of our year. And
was yours heavily like below deck-ified? Because I didn't do anything that had to do with below deck at all. I think
But now
yeah.
this time we,
this time we will. But like I know that when we were in VIP, like there was someone from below deck and everyone was like freaking out.
It was
So
probably us. It was fine.
like
Hi, Captain
there's so
Jason.
many below deck fans. It was just
Yes.
so
Yeah,
fun
there's so
to see.
many men and women and like older, younger, like a big age group of fans too. Yeah, and we definitely did all the below deck stuff, but we're also, you know, Housewives fans and Married to Medicine fans.
We
So
got to meet Erica Jane and I almost died. Like I got to sit next to her
How
on the
was
couch and I was like,
she?
she was very
she's
sweet.
beautiful
She had her
and very
own
kind.
light, you know, to get pictures with.
we seen her too, and it was just like, whoa, that's Erika
Wow.
Jane.
Yeah,
She's
it's
stunning.
to be that close also.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
looks
It was
like a
surreal.
doll. She just sits there.
Yes. And
And I'm
then
like,
Kyle Richards waved to us and I was like, such a
Yeah.
fangirl. Like
She's
just
like this big. She's
Yeah.
so
They're so
short.
they're
tiny.
all so
tiny.
tiny.
hormones.
The men and the women.
Yeah.
Hormones. Not Elsa.
Because I'm like, is my head this big, or is just like, dang?
They're all itty bitty people. Like they're
Yeah.
they're short too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think it was maybe announced that you guys joined Hurrdat like right after BravoCon. Does that sound right?
We joined literally like right before.
Oh,
Literally
okay.
like the weekend before all that stuff like got transferred over.
Oh, okay.
So we went and we met up with Pat and stuff like that, but we didn't get to
Yeah.
go to the suite. We didn't get to meet you guys. We
Yeah.
did have like the tea on where, you know, when Teresa would come and line up and stuff like that. But we just had so many things to do and we wanted to meet people who listen to the podcast. That was like our number one priority.
Yeah.
That we didn't really get to interact with Hurrdat as much or have any. We don't have merch yet. We don't have
Yeah.
anything yet. But this year it'll be a lot different if we, you know, if it happens this year.
Yeah. Hopefully
I've heard. What have you heard on the streets? Because I heard that it might be every other year, and that they really like Vegas. Have you heard the same thing, or?
I have not heard the every other year thing.
Although my bank account would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It does sound like Vegas was a big hit though, as far as like the
This
venue. But
made
it seemed like
sense.
a lot of people couldn't get tickets. You know, they made it quite a bit smaller than New York, but I certainly appreciated that there were a lot fewer people and just like some space.
New York was a mess. New York was just a mess. So many people.
The only
So
thing
much.
I didn't like in New York, I was in like regular like general admission, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I'm scrappy because when the Beverly Hills fight went out, I was in the front row. Like,
Oh
I
man.
was where the stars were. So like, I
Wow.
witnessed
Wow.
it like firsthand, and everyone behind me was fighting. But I will say with Vegas, the only thing that I did not like was that whole thing where you had to do the reservations for the photo ops, and we just ended
I
up
didn't like that.
going to
Yeah.
ours because it was
Because
just
we kept like, I could not do one.
Yeah.
And they're like, come in, you make sure you're up at 9 o'clock. And I was up every time, like waiting.
yeah.
And then when I went in, they were like, oops, it's too late. And I'm like,
What?
What are you talking about?
what are you
Like,
talking about? It's
Right.
literally 9:01 right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was rough.
It's so fun though. Like it's just talking about Bravo to non-Bravo people. It just feels a little bit nerdy unless they ask you, and then they're like, "Oh, then who's that? Who's that?" Or if I don't know,
Mhm.
your mom or something is like just standing with her hand on her hip, like, "What is this?" But like that's fun. But like with people who just know what we're talking about, it's just so fun just being in that environment. Also meeting the people and then having to ask Andy and seeing them walk around, the photo ops, especially when you go with a friend, it's just so interactive. I just felt like safe and it was just so good. So good.
Yeah, I mean, because it's so hard to get tickets, it's the people that want to be there the most, you know, that
Right.
logged
You gotta
in,
be
hit
dedicated.
refresh, and like you're there with the other super fans. And we just loved being in line with people and just talking about, you know, our favorite shows.
Exactly. It was really like the weird thing. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was gonna say, I actually, before we end, I wanted to make sure that I asked this question.
Yeah.
I forgot to ask it during the below deck segment, but I wanted to know, do y'all feel a tension between Captain Carrie and Barbie? Like, do you feel like this awkward tension? Yeah. Because I have felt it very strongly. And that's one of the things that I had in my notes.
Interesting. I hadn't noticed. Like,
I
was there
did it before.
now I'm gonna
I
be like
do now.
watching it back. What kind of
Yeah.
tension?
What
Like,
part? What part?
Because there's a specific scene like when she's going back and forth with Sarah, I believe that's her name. And I think her and Captain Carey are talking and they're pointing at a map and he's showing her like some of the places that he's worked in and he's yachted in.
oh, okay.
That particular scene.
Yeah.
It's like,
You think
I
that
don't
was
know.
romantic?
Yeah, I thought like it was just this tension between them.
I haven't
Hmm.
watched
Okay.
that.
Well,
I'm trying to
I'm gonna
remember
have to
that
go
scene.
back.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna
like
have
it's
to
like
watch.
little moments when they interact, which are very rare because they don't really interact directly.
Right,
But
yeah, because they're not in the same department, really.
yeah, those few
Yes.
moments, I'm just like,
What is?
Ooh.
I'm trying to think, was that Barbie or was that Cat in that scene? What color hair? Blonde
I
hair?
want to say it was Cat. It was
Okay.
Cat. I
It was
apologize.
Cat. I
Yes.
do remember that scene, and okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and watch, but I got like the feeling like she's just so green, she doesn't know anything, and like she probably doesn't even know where Grenada is, even though that's where she is. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting thing. Okay, so our last little segment is called Join Me in the Wheelhouse, and it's where we decide who needs to see Captain Carey for a stern talking to. So, out of this episode, who would you guys say needs to go to the wheelhouse to see Captain Carey? Like, who was behaving badly?
Oh, the guy that was on the mic telling the girls business about her not having a helmet.
Oh,
That really
okay.
like
Jared.
immediately.
Ben.
Ben.
Okay. Ben,
Naughty,
get up
naughty,
here.
naughty.
I'm sure it's not the last time this season he's going to be called to the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys think that you'll keep watching some Below Deck, or you think it was like one and done?
I don't think that it's one and done. What I think is that something will pop off this season.
Yeah.
And you know how, there's episodes where everyone like kind of congregates and they're like, oh, did you see this on Below Deck? This happened or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when I'll like tap back in.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, this wasn't a super exciting episode. What I really want for you guys is to go back to like season 2, 3 of Below Deck OG and watch Kate Chastain like in her prime as Chief Stew. So good. Really good.
Boss babe. She's just
I believe
amazing.
it because
Yeah.
on Traitors, she's just a joy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Like a
She's so
joy.
funny.
Relatable, like everything. Even I think the Crappy Awards were recently, and she won something, and she was just like, I can't believe I'm not there. Sorry. And, like, she was so funny unintentionally. It was so good.
Yeah, she's just snarky and hilarious. Well, we really appreciate you guys watching this episode and recapping it with us, and we've been really looking forward to it for several weeks, and just excited to get to know you guys a little bit, and hopefully we'll be together at BravoCon.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, and you have to come on our show because I thought that y'all just watched Below Deck. Like, I didn't know you were versed in Married to Medicine, you were versed in Potomac. Like, we always love to talk to people about anything Bravo. And then if it wasn't Bravo, like whatever you're watching, because we also have a pop culture episode. So we would love to have you on the podcast, and it'd be really fun.
That would be so fun for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a Hurrdat like crossover, like this one.
Yeah. That's it for this week's episode of Above Deck. Thank you to our team at Hurrdat Media, especially our amazing producer, Grace. Thank you to Kaya and Aaron from Bravo While Black. Y'all go and listen to their podcast. Follow them on all the socials. They're so funny. And please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to tell a friend, and please rate and review us 5 stars only.
You can follow us on Instagram at Above Deck Pod and email us at abovedeckpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, you can watch us on the Hurrdat Media YouTube channel. And until next week, I'm Kelly Busby.
And I'm Sarah Goldman. We'll see you next week.